Wow, so many people already. Hello. How is everyone? All right, notice I've got a different hoop today because we're doing French knots today. So we're gonna learn all about how to do them, all the best sizes, all the best kinds. It's gonna be real fun. Hi, George. All right, so I like to do a scrap hoop and then do different sizes of strands and different sizes of wraps. So I'm gonna go straight down the middle first with 3 strands, and I'll show you 1 wrap, 2 wraps, and 3 wraps, and we'll show you how to get going with it as well. So on this side, I'm gonna put the number of strands. So normally I would make a full grid with 1 strand, 2 strand, 3 strands, 4, 5, and 6. And then 1 wrap, 2 wrap, 3 wraps for all of them. And go down. But just for time's sake, I'm gonna do 1 strand, 3 strands, and then 6 strands. And then over here we'll do 1 wrap, 2 wraps, and 3 wraps. So we're gonna make a kind of grid, yeah? And then obviously this way. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna start with 3 strands and we'll just learn how to do them first, because French knots are a little bit tricky if you've never done them. So let me zoom in. And I've got 3 strands on my needle already. Actually, I'm gonna have to leave it out because you need to see both hands. Okay, so we're gonna go right here, 3 strands, 1 wrap, and what you're gonna do is come up from the back, pull it through, and you're gonna hold this thread with your left hand and put your needle on top with your right hand, okay? And put it over the needle like this, like loose, not really tight. And then you're going to put this right here down right next to where you came up. And this is where people normally make a mistake because you have all of this loose thread on your needle. What you need to do with this here is shimmy this thread all the way down to the base of your needle and the base of your fabric. So it looks like that. Now we're not holding it super tight or anything like that because we still have to push our needle through. Yeah, French knots. So you're gonna push your needle all the way through, still holding on to this. All the way through, still holding on, and then you can let go when you're almost done. So that's 3 strands, 1 wrap. So let's do it again. Hold it like this, your needle on top, 1 wrap. Put it down right next to where you came up. Shimmy that little knot down. Make sure you're holding it here. Again, not really tight. You don't want this to be like pushing really hard to get through. You still want to push it through easily. There you go. So let me do 1 more time. There we go. Pull it through, wrap around, and then I always hold it. So my finger will always be on this part until I can pull it all through. And that helps it so that all of this thread here doesn't get knotted before you actually put it through, or you'll have a knot on top of your French knot and you don't want that to happen. Okay, so move right on over here with 2 wraps. So it's exactly the same. Come up from the back, but this time we're gonna wrap 2 times. So 1, 2, put it right down like that and shimmy that knot down. Again. push it through like that. So we'll do another one. Two wraps, and then we've got three. Now, the more wraps you do, the bigger your knot will be. The more strands you have, the bigger your knot will be. And the more wraps you have and the more strands you have, the bigger your knot will be. So you can really see how to make really small ones. Like if you wanted to do like strawberry seeds or something like that, you could use smaller, less strands and less wraps to make smaller knots. Yes, we've got that so far. 1 wrap, 2 wrap, 3 wraps. And then I also have 1 strand and 6 strands. So I'm just going to quickly do that for you so that you can have a look. I've already got it prepared on my needle here. So here we have 1 strand, 1 wrap. Whoops, I went through the knot. And these will be really small, because it's only 1 strand. But it's really good to know the different thicknesses of these because then you can use different ones to show different textures. So there's 1 strand, 1 wrap, and then we've got 2 strands, 1 strand, 2 wraps. A little bit bigger. And then 3 wraps. Now, oftentimes I can use the thread that I already have. See, I didn't hold it all the way. So I've got a problem. And sometimes you can pull it all the way through like that. So you don't want to pull too tight. And all we're going to do is put another one right on top of that. There. Fix that problem, didn't I? And then lastly, we have 6 strands. So 6 strands, 1 wrap, which is very similar to the 3 strands 3, if you see the size. You know, French knots are always a little bit, not boring, but it's easier if you can make a little grid like this. So then 1, you can get the practice, and 2, you can see how different they look when you have more or less strands and more or less wraps. And then lastly, we have 3. So there you go. So I'll zoom out a little bit and you can see. I've showed the knot a lot of times already, but it's literally just a loop and you push it down. But I've already talked about the different ways that you can end your embroidery in one of the other videos. So I'm not going to go over all of those today. So this is the little grid that you get. It's really easy then to see all the differences and how small they can get, how big they can get. You can even do 12 strands if you wanted to. Obviously, you can do that on your own hoop to practice because I'm not going to go any bigger than 6 today. So if you want to go and make your own grid, I would suggest doing 2 strands and 4 and 5 strands just to see the difference. Because there really is a big one. But then you can also see how if you already have 6 strands and you want like this size of a knot, then just do 1 wrap. Or if you only have 3 strands and you want this size of a knot, then you can do 2 wraps or 3 wraps, you know? You can kind of mix and match depending on what you've already got so that you don't have to cut your thread and get a whole new thread just because you want a certain size of a knot. Does that make sense? Because you can achieve like very similar results with, you know, what you've already got. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna fill these little guys here with French knots. And it's gonna look a little bit like yarrow. Don't know. Well, there's lots of different colors of that if you Google it. I've chosen this like rusty orangey yellow. I think it'll look quite nice with the color that I've chosen. So we actually did this on a different stitch along. I'll show you the sample, what I'm aiming for. There we go. That's a good angle. So we're aiming for something like this here with the little French knots at the top there. So we'll see. Obviously, I've chosen a very similar color to that. Not the same color, but a similar color. So I'm gonna fill them up. A good way to find out what size knot that you like, good morning, Carrie, is to give it a go, but don't push your needle all the way through. So I'll show you what I mean by that as well, because sometimes you can just see the knot on the embroidery and you can think, oh, that needs to be bigger, or oh, that's way too big. I didn't tie this one, sorry. Okay. So this is what I mean. You can push it through and then you can just try. So if you've got, say you want 3, and you put it down like this, and you can kind of see just right now how big that knot is going to be, and if you like it or if you don't like it. So if you don't like it, obviously you just take it out, so you don't have to try and cut it out afterwards. If you like just one and you like them really small, that's what they'll look like. So by doing that, you can kind of gauge, you know, how big or small that you want it. So I've got this rusty orangish yellow color thread. And I'm going to do 3 strands and 3 wraps. So it's going to fill up the space a little bit better, but they're not going to be like bam. Because if you did like the 6 strands and 3 wraps, they're quite large. So it just depends on what you like, really. I always say that, but you can make them bigger, smaller. You can mix 2 colors together so that maybe you can get like some color variation. Whoops. That's a new one. Bingo. Let me just move that out of the way. What is happening today? I'm catching on everything. Oh my gosh. Carrie says, how are you, Tori? I'm all right, you know. I'm not bad. I think it's been a weird day already, I'm not gonna lie. But I feel like because it's been like really weirdly warm, last night we put the fan on, but then we had the covers on as well, and then I kept getting hot and then taking the covers off and then getting cold because of the fan, and then I don't know, it's been a weird one. Today. So you don't have to fill in this whole section because that's quite a lot of French knots. And I wouldn't do that to you. But I would say get a nice shape in there. Now, if you used bigger ones, like if you did 6 strands and the weather's looking good here too. Oh, that's good. So it's meant to be, for people in the UK, it's meant to be 23 today, which is about 73 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's quite warm for the end of September. But then tomorrow, it's only meant to be 13, which is 55 degrees. So that's like a 10 degree if you're Celsius or 20 degree if you're Fahrenheit jump. That's a lot. And whenever the weather does this, I always get, you can hear it already, is the stuffy nose and the like, sounds like I'm congested or something, you know? It happens every single time the weather changes drastically like this. Like if it's really hot one day. It happened in the spring as well. I think it was in March or April. And I was like, I swear it's not COVID, I promise. No. Okay, I think that's a pretty good shape for mine, and I'll do another one here. The one thing I do want to say is that with these French knots, because you're twisting the thread all the way around your needle so much, your thread might start to do this. Can you see it? See how it's starting to twist by itself? What you're going to want to do if this happens is let your needle dangle, and can you see that it's untwisting itself? Let your needle dangle like that, and that will get the twists out of your needle, because what will happen is that as you're doing your French knots, your thread will start to get a knot on top of the French knot, and that, it's not nice. It's just a big, big mess when that happens. So if you can prevent it, then that's, that's the best thing. But keep an eye out for your thread when it dangles on the back. You can't really see right now. It's as far as it can go. But when it's dangling like this and it twists on itself, keep an eye out for that, because you really don't want that to happen as you're doing these French knots. And it's just because you're doing the same movement with the thread. That's all. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just that you're twisting it and doing the same movement over and over and over. So, hello from Sweden. Hello. Now, if you don't fancy these flowers, that's okay too. You can do something else if you want. Like I said, what I had planned for these didn't work out. So this was my backup idea. So if you find another flower that you really love, then go ahead and use that. You can use the skills that we've learned already. And you can do that. That's 100% fine. Totally fine. I haven't said that in a while. Hello from Costa Rica, Pura Vida. Hello. Well, lots of people on this morning from different places. I think Carrie said that her boys are exactly the same when the weather changes. Yeah, I don't know what's the deal. It's just, you know how like when you get older and then like, you know when it's going to rain because like your knee hurts or something. That's like pretty much what's happening. I think I'm going to, It's totally fine. I said before on a stitch along that I was going to do one with like a flower that was crying that said, it's totally fine. I even drew it in my book. I should try and find it in my planner book. Just gonna do one more here, I think, because it's looking quite triangular at the top. So there's 2 of them done. Let me zoom out and then you can see what it looks like all together. Yeah, I'm still in my pajamas. So yeah, so it looks like that. I think it looks really nice. Oh. Guys, I'm just gonna stop today. I just need to quit. I just need to quit. So there you go. That's what it looks like. Got those 2 done. So yeah, you can mix the colors together. I think I've already said that. If you want to do like 2 strands of one color, 2 strands of another color, you could definitely do that. If you want to do like one bunch, one color, and then one bunch, a different color, you could do that. If you don't want to, just don't do these flowers at all and fill in something else here, then you can do that. This is kind of the part of the stitch along where I try to encourage you to try different things and go with your instinct, you know? If you feel like, I'm gonna try something else, or if you get a little itch to do that, then do it, try. And you know, the worst thing that could happen is that you don't like it and you'll end up changing it. And is that really so bad? You know, because like you tried something and you know you don't like that now. I wonder if I'll be able to finish this one. It's getting so short. So many techniques in one piece looks amazing. Well, yeah, this is a stitch along, so that's kind of the point. The point is to learn a lot of new different techniques. So I think that's probably, like I don't write that it's a stitch along on the live videos, but yeah, so that's like the idea of like a stitch along, is because like you learn a lot of different techniques in just 4 weeks. So this is the 4th week. So if you check out hashtag the Barmy Fox SAL, you'll see everyone's hoops as they've stitched them up and everything. So everyone's making one of these. Where's the other half of that? Where did you go? There. Yeah, so it's good. It's good fun because you get to see everybody's different colors. And some people have just like sacked off most of the instructional techniques anyways. And some people have followed it really closely. It just depends on how you feel like, what you feel like doing. You know, there's no shade either way. There's no problem. Do your own thing, you know? You're encouraged to try new things and to kind of go with your gut. So you can pick your own colors, do your own thing, or you can just follow really closely with the colors that I've chosen. Completely up to you. This is a very long thread. I don't know why I did that. So this is it for today. We're just doing French knots. So I'm encouraging you to get a practice hoop, make a grid, do your French knots. And then tomorrow we're going to do details and centers, and which you will use the French knot again for some of the centers. And some of the centers we'll do something else with. So please don't go and just like French knot everything. Let's put one right here. Okay, so I've got 2 more to do. I'm gonna call it a day for that, just because it's a bit boring watching me do French knots over and over and over again. But yeah, I used 3 strands, 3 wraps, as you can see. Definitely want you to try all the different ways. So try 2 wraps, 3 wraps, 1 wrap, 1 strand, 2 strands. Have a look. See which one you like the best. This is what these look like. I think they're really nice. And yeah, so I hope you have a really lovely Tuesday. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to tag at the Barmy Fox in your stories. And then use the hashtag the Barmy Fox SAL. And then you can go and see everyone else's hoops and their progress, etc., etc. So yeah, I'll talk with you tomorrow. All right, bye.